Hey guys, it's Emisky here, and I welcome you guys to the episode 3 of our key level series. Now, on the previous videos, we talked about um identification of key levels, which was episode 1, where we talked about how to identify open close key level, A-shaped key level, and V-shaped key level, and also their functions, right? Now, also in the episode 2, we talked about high probability key levels, and in that particular episode, we talked about how to identify high probability key levels. That there are some certain criteria that must be met before we can call a key level high probability, right? And I gave us a breakdown of how we can be able to spot a high probability key level. Now, this particular episode, we'll be talking about key level refinement. The purpose of this video is to show us how to refine key levels and get more precision in the market. But to be able to refine your key levels, you must first of all be able to identify key levels, right? So for those of us who have not watched the episode 1 of this series, do well to go back and watch the episode 1. And also, the moment you are able to identify your key levels, you must be able to first of all identify your high probability key levels, because refinement is being made or are being made on the high probability key levels, right? Now let's dive into this the content of this episode 3, which is key level refinement, right? Now remember, in the first episode I said something that a key level must sweep structure, must sweep liquidity, right? And also break structure for us to call this high probability. That was the first criteria a key level must meet in line with structure, right? Now the first thing I said also is that we must have a liquidity printed close to it, right? And also, let's take for example, there's an open close key level here, and this particular guy here is an imbalance here, right? Now this particular setup is very much valid because we had a sweep of liquidity, we had a break of structure, and we also had price printing liquidity for us here. Now within this imbalance, we had an open close key level once used to say, right? Now this is a high probability key levels. Now after getting your high probability key levels, the next thing you want to do is that you want to refine to get more precision in the markets, right? Now in terms of refinement, most times if I have this particular structure being printed on what's on probably the H1 time frame, what do? I come to H4 time frame or my daily time frame. I come to my H4 time frame or my daily time frame to get my higher time frame POI, right? My higher time frame key level. Now, most times, if I have a sweep and break on the H1 time frame, if I come to the H4 time frame, I might be having a shaped key level standing with a single count formation of liquidity printed close to it. Now, most times, I'll just take my entry off this particular level here and sell. Now, if this is happening on the H4 or maybe on the day time frame, now back to the H1 time frame, what I want to do most times, this particular A-shaped key level might be like this on the H1 time frame. Now, this was the sweep and break, right? And the liquidity printed close to it. Now, this particular A-shaped key level might be right here. Now, the next thing I want to do is that if I'm coming to the H1 time frame and the higher time frame key level is right here, most times if I want to sell, I push it up a bit right here, right? Now, the next thing I want to see then, guys, the price will just come, run through the liquidity, tap that level, and drop immediately without giving any much deep replacement. So that's basically how we define our key levels, right? Now, let's come to the chart and let's see practical examples of where these things are in play, right? Let's come to our chart and see practical examples of where all these key level refinements are in play. Now, if it comes to XAUUSD, right? If you see XAUUSD now, we have a major break of structure on XAUUSD. We had a major break here on XAUUSD. Now, after that major break, you can see what we have here. We had sweep of liquidity off this high, and also we have break of structure off this low, giving to us what? A high probability key level, right? It must sweep liquidity, it must break structure, right? Now, after getting this particular high sweep and break on the higher time frame, also we can still be bullish because we had a break of this low here, a break of this high here, I mean to say, right? Now, what do we have next? You can see very clear that after having this sweep and break on H4 time frame, if I come to my daily time frame to refine my key level, you can see that on my daily time frame, we had this A-shaped key level standing here. On my daily time frame, we had this A-shaped key level standing here. Now, if you go to your line chart, you see very clearly an A-shaped key level standing there for the daily time frame. Now, back to the H4 time frame, I want to make a refinement of my daily time frame. Like I see very clearly from where I see in my illustration that if I have the higher time frame key level here, I want to push it up to the next time frame on the time frame I'm trying to refine, right? Now, the next key level, I mean on the time frame I'm trying to refine. Now, you can see very clearly that this was an open close key level on the higher time frame. On the higher time frame A-shaped key level is an open close key level on the forward time frame. Now, here's the next level I can push it up to. This particular A-shaped key level here, Ukraine. And I can see very clearly that price just came into it, gave us a sniper entry, and we had this massive dump in the market as well. Now, let's investigate for the bias. What happened on the bias? Now, if you see very clearly on the bias, we had sweep of liquidity off this low as well. Price swipe liquidity of this low as well. Now, price break structure of is high, giving towards what? A sweep and a break. Like I see this particular previous candle here was serving as liquidity for us as well. Now, what do we do next? We have our direction already bullish. We want to see more buys in the market, right? Now, this particular sales was what? Retracement to target our buys. Now, we had this particular sweep and break happening on the H4 time frame. If I come to the daily, I want to get my key level. Now, most times on the daily, I always use fresh key levels in the daily time frame. I can see very clearly from here that we have this open close key level standing here as the only fresh key level closest to our liquidity right now. If we come back to the H4 time frame, you can see very clearly on the H4 time frame, if you look, if you investigate very clearly, on the H4 time frame, we had this key level as well standing. Now, there's a limitation to what I do. Most times when I get my higher time frame key level, which should always be a fresh, or most times be a fresh key level, if I come to the H4 time frame, where I'm trying to take my entry from, and the H4 time frame is overlapping on the higher time frame key level, and it's possibly a fresh zone, I don't bother refining. I'll just take direct entry from there. Like I see, more reason why this particular rejection did not give a deep rejection. Why? It's coming from a higher time frame key level that is overlapping on a lower time frame key level. So that's basically how I refine my key levels to get more precisions in the market. Now let's look this particular area here as well. Let me clear my chart and look at this particular area as well. Now I can see very clearly from here as well. What do we have here? If you look at this particular move that happened here as well, we had a major break of structure of this high as well, right? We had a major break of structure of this high, which confirms our direction for us, right? Now, after confirming our direction, what do we have here? If you investigate very clearly here, we had what? We had sweep of liquidity, right? And also we have break of structure around this loop here. I can see very clearly, previous candle served as what? As liquidity for us. Now, how do I define my key level? I'm having this sweep and break on the what? On the H4 time frame. I come to daily to get my key level. Now, on the daily time frame, you can see very clearly that on the daily time frame, we are having what? We are having this A-shaped key level standing as fresh key level around that area. A-shaped key level standing there. Now, back to H4, I want to define again. Now, I can see very clearly on the H4 time frame, there's no unmitigated key level around it. The only one I have here is this particular one up here. So that's where I define it to, because it is the next key level above, which is this A-shaped key level standing here. Like I see very clear that price just came into that key level there, gave us a sniper and dumped to the downside. Now that's basically how I define my key levels, right? Let's look for more examples. Let's go to other pairs. Let's come to USDJPY. Let me clear my chart and show us practical examples of where these things we are in play. Now also on USDJPY, you can see very clearly what do we have here? We have sweep of liquidity up this high. Also, we have break of structure of this low as well, giving to us sweep and break like we always want to see. Right now, after having that sweep and break, what do we do next? We want to define this sweep and break or what on the daily time frame. Now, on the daily time frame, what do we have? We had this open close key level standing here on the daily time frame. Now, back to H4 time frame, we want to make our refinement. Like I see very clearly on the H4 time frame, this was the daily key level. Above it, we have this A-shaped key, this V-shaped key level that field standing here, because that's the exact level price came to tap. We had this top to the downside. So that's basically how I refine my key levels, right? Now let's look for the buy side. Let's look for this area as well. You can see very clearly as well here. We had what? We had sweep of liquidity. We had sweep of liquidity, right? We have sweep of liquidity. So I'm trying to make it more perfect so you can see it very clearly. So on this particular area, right here, we had sweep of liquidity. Also, we had break of structure of this high, right? Like I see, previous candles served as what? As liquidity for us. Might have met our criteria that we have mostly sweep of liquidity, break of structure, and also liquidity must be printed close to it. Now, if we define this particular sweep and break on the this sweep and break happened on the H4 time frame. If we want to make a refinement, where do we go to next? We'll come to the daily time frame to get a refinement, right? Now, on daily time frame, you can see very clearly that we have this what we have this open close key level as the only fresh key level that is yet to be mitigated on the daily time frame. Now, coming to H4, we want to make a refinement, right? Now, the H4 time frame, you can see very clearly that on the H4 time frame, let me zoom in and see so you can see. So you can see on the H4 time frame, this was our daily key level. Now, where's the next key level we can use? I use this bishop key level that is standing right here. Like I said, that's exactly the price scaling capped, and we had all these buys happening in the market. Now, for those of us who are familiar with the way we trade, whenever we have rejection on higher time frame, where do we go to next? We'll come to H1 to get confirmation. Now, this was like H4 rejecting H4. we come to H1 to get what sweep and break. Now the H1 time frame, what do we have here? Let me investigate very clearly. We had what sweep of liquidity up this high, up this low. I mean to say, we had sweep of liquidity up this low. And also we had break of structure of this high, giving towards our sweep and break. Now we have some clusters of wicks around here, which we can use as what as our liquidity. We have all these clusters of wicks around here that we can use as what as liquidities. Now, this was our liquidity happening on the H1 time frame. Now, remember I said something that whenever we get sweep and break, liquidity printed on the lower time frame, we come to higher time frame to get our key level. Now, this happened on the H1. Where do I come to? I come to my H4 time frame to get my key level. On the H4 time frame, you can see very clearly that below the liquidity that we had on 1 hour time frame, we have what? We have this what? We have this open close key level that's still very much fresh. Now, I'll define it back to my H1 where I go to my sweep and break, and I want to make adjustments where necessary. Like I can see on the H1 time frame as well, there's no need to define. Why? Because on the H1 time frame as well, it's also a fresh key level. Now that's exactly when we had all these buys happening in the market. Now also, I also gave this call live on my Telegram. So for those of us who are on my Telegram, go do well to join. Link is in my bio description on my YouTube channel. So do well to join so you probably get trade ideas. And also we also have trade recaps every Saturday by 11 p.m. Now also you can see very clearly from here. Remember I said something that we find off this H4 key level on the daytime frame key level as well. Now the moment this particular level was refined, what do we have next? You can see H4 rejecting H1. Now if you come to H1, we'll get our sweep and break as confirmation, right? I can see on the H4 time frame, what do we have here? You can see very clearly that on the H4 time frame, on the H1 time frame, we have sweep of liquidity off this low high, I mean to say, and also we had break of structure of this low, giving to us what is strong high, right? Now, the moment we have this sweep and break here, you can see from here also we had a major break of structure around here, right? We had a major break of structure around this level here. I can see for here, sweep and break. To refine the sweep and break on the H4 time, if we want to get a fresh key level that we can use to sell in the market, right? Now, I can see very clearly around that sweep and break, what do we have here? We had a failed V-shaped key level that is here to be indicated. Now, previous candle was sound as liquidity for us here as well. You can see it very clearly. Previous candle here sound as liquidity for us now. Now, coming to H1, what do we want to do? We want to push that level up a bit to the next key level above it, right? Now, look at the level that we had on H1 time frame. Coming back to H1 time frame, we want to refine and push that level up a bit. Now, you can see very clearly. What do we have here? This was the key level that we had on H4. Here's the next key level. We had this open close key level standing here that was tested before, or we can also use this fresh open close key level above here. Like I said, that's the exact same level that press came. It's like how we had all these sales happening in the market, see price to our liquidity around here. I can see very clearly that just by understanding key level, understanding what key levels are, and also understanding high probability key levels, we can be able to refine and get precisions in the market. Right now, let's look at 1 or 2 examples before we wrap up this session. Let's look at 1 or 2 examples. I think we had a practical example happening on GBPUSD. This particular one happened yesterday as well. Okay, not GBPUSD, we had it on EUUSD. I also shared it with my students live and we passed the trades as well. I can see very clearly because it's not a level. This was it around here, right? This was a level around here. Happened yesterday. Trying to let my candles. Okay. Yeah, this was a level here. Let me clear my chart and show us the example. So this was a level that we had here. On this guy, we had the reaction happening here. Like I see very clearly what we have here. We had sweep of liquidity of this low. I see very clearly sweep of liquidity. And also, if we investigate on the line chart, what do we have here? We had break of this high as well. My price swept liquidity and break this high on the line chart. If you look very clear, it was very visible on the line chart, right? Look at the line chart. It was very clear that we had this break of this high. So we had a sweep and break on 1 hour time frame. Now, if we come to 4 hours, we want to get our key level, right? On the 4 hours time frame, we can see very clearly that this was the closest key level we could have used, which was a fresh key level. We had this key level, open close key level around here. Now, coming back to 1 hour, we want to define, right? So, if we want to define, what do? We push it down a bit to the next key level, which is this one around here. So that was where we had that sniper and happening in the market, and we had all these buys to the upside, right? So you can see basically just by defining key level refinements, we can get accurate trades with higher precisions and also higher win rates. Now let's look at one more example before we close this session. Let's look at one more example. Now if I see in GBPJPY, I think this particular move happened on the 4 hours time frame. Let me investigate and see very clearly. Now I can see from here on GBPJPY, we had sweep of liquidity off this low here, right? And also we have break of structure of this high, giving to us what? Sweep and break. Now also on that particular sweep and break, we had liquidity printed as well around this guy here. We had liquidity printed around here, right? And also we had a major break of structure around here as well. Like I see very clear that this particular setup was a clean one. It have already met our criteria. Sweep of liquidity, break of structure. The trend is what? The trend is still very much bullish because we had a major break of structure around here as well. Now liquidity was printed close to our key level that we might be using to sell. But we had this particular move happening on the 4 hours time frame. If you come to the data, if you want to get our key level, right? So on data, what do we have here? We had this fresh V-shaped key level around here, right? We had this fresh V-shaped key level here. Now coming to H4, we want to refine. We want to push it down to the next key level we can use. But this was the H4 key level. It has already been mitigated on the this was the daily key level I mean to say, and it has been mitigated on the H4 key levels. Where do we push it down to? This particular V-shaped key level, or let's say this QM key level around here. I can see that we had all these buys, price your skin, capital level, and we had all these buys happening in the market. The price will take out this overall high as our target. Like I see very clearly just by understanding key levels, key level, high probability key levels, and also key level refinements, we can be able to take profits of the markets consistently with a higher win rate. So thank you very much for watching. Do well to like, subscribe, and also share the videos for others to see and learn from. So see you in the next video. Okay, the next video will be another series. We'll be talking about ranges. So see you in the next video. And for those of us who are not on my Telegram channel, do well to join. We share vital information there. Thank you very much.